All right, question number one, titled "I Want to Be a Journalist," comes from Outrageous Bat 3065. And it says, "I want to be a journalist. Pipe dream? Question mark." So let's scroll down here to the question itself. And it says, "How hard is it to be a journalist after working in PR? Is it a realistic switch?" I thought that was an interesting question because I think a lot of PR people move in the reverse direction, right? Lots of journalists become PR people. I was one of them. I was a radio reporter for years, decided that I wanted a change in my career, and I became a PR person. I've done that for the last 25 years. But here's the question going in the reverse. You are a PR, you're in PR, and you want to become a journalist. Well, without scrolling down here on the page, I think number one, you should go for it, right? If you want to do something, you need to try, even though Yoda says there is no try, and I believe in Yoda. Uh, but I do think you got to give it a shot, right? Now, I think you also need to be realistic about it. And the first thing that I think of is experience, right? How hard will it be pivoting from one career to another career? And how much of that experience is transferable? Now, certainly, if you've been in PR, I think there are some transferable skills there, just as they are in the opposite direction. Um, Getting into journalism, though, especially if you are, let's say, a few years into your career, if you're not, a youngin' right out of college or university or whatever, and willing to accept, and understandably willing to accept slightly smaller pay, I think that might be a challenge. And journalists don't get paid a lot of money. I'm living proof of that, and every other working journalist, I think, is also living proof of that. Journalists don't make a lot of money, and you can count on just two hands the number of people who work in network, and even the network people probably don't make that much money comparatively to other industries, other professions where you can climb the pay ladder and make a little bit more. But in terms of wanting to get into it, if you want to get into it, go for it. I do think we need more journalists. Journalists are getting cut left and right. And I think that would be a challenge too. I think if you're trying to become a journalist, trying to find a job is going to be tough because, newsrooms are already cutting. They're not necessarily hiring, they're cutting. Now, there are other newsrooms that are hiring. My local newspaper here on Long Island is hiring, and they seem to always be hiring. But that's because they have an owner who is very invested in their news product. And I think those public